Hey random people out there on the internet, it is the Mustang Ridge Wood Bandit. In previous videos I discussed getting into the hobby as a beginner and working with a minimal set of tools and some easily acquired materials to just get started. In the most recent one, I spoke to acquiring materials by going to secondhand shops, Goodwill, Salvation Army, Habitat for Humanity, looking along curbside, looking along rural roads, talking to your friends. There's a number of ways to acquire material. So today, I'm going to try to acquire some material. All right, score. So I've broken down a home entertainment center and I've gotten all the materials from it, and we're going to take a look at what I scored for $19. First of all, we've got some molding here. What's on the side of it, and some trim pieces, some smaller pieces with some wood pegs in there, a number of small things here. Also, we acquired some larger pieces. This is a thin piece of what I believe is MDF. Nice big slab of MDF here. Same thing here and here. So there's that. I have a couple of these. Look, it's McDonald's brown arches. And then got a couple of these. I think those will make some pretty good seat backs, or maybe a seat back and a seat bottom. Who knows? We'll figure that out. In any event, again, $19. What else did I get? I also got some materials, or I'm sorry, some supplies. Probably about 50 wood screws of two different sizes. And these, I like to call these wood anchors. I'm not sure what the actual name of them is. But the neat thing about these is that you drill a hole in a piece of wood and screw that in there with an Allen head. And then you can attach another piece of wood like a bolt instead of a screw. Pretty cool. So what we're going to do is we're going to try to decide what I'm going to make. I'm going to make it from the materials that I scored for $19. And I'm going to use a minimum amount of tools. So let's take a look at that. I got a drill. We'll be making holes and driving screws with that. A jigsaw, which is probably the most versatile saw that there is. Some blades from a jigsaw. Some bits for my drill. A speed square and a pin. Alright, so here soon I'm going to try to figure out what I'm going to make, and then I'll be right back and share that with you so we can see how it's going to end up. So we're back here, and I think what I've decided to do is maybe make something for my little girl. Hey, this is Kuma. Yeah, you know what this is going to be? This is going to be a thing to put your water and food dish in. What do you think about that? You like that idea? Yeah, so do I. Alright, so let's take a look at what we're going to do. This is the size of the water dish and the other dish that I'm going to be doing. And what I need to do is I'm going to use this as the base, and I'm going to cut 2 holes in it so that these will slip right off in there. How big are the holes? How do I decide? Alright, obviously I need a tape measure. It has to slip in there and be past that. So if I come to the inside and measure the inside to inside, it's about 7 inches. So what we're going to do, we're going to draw a 7-inch circle here, a 7-inch circle here. Use our jigsaw and cut that off. Alright, in order to mark and cut a circle, I'm going to need a compass and a ruler, because I want 2 circles. I want them to be even with each other, and I want them to be centered. So I've drawn a line here and here to a straight edge like this. And what we're going to do is we're going to find out where the exact center of this is. So by taking a compass, we can take a compass from this side, put it right on our line, and do an arc. And we'll do the same thing on the other side. Didn't make it wide enough, so let's Widen that up a little bit. Take 2. That's the thing about live video here, is that you get to see the mistakes as they happen. See these arches? That should be the center of the board. Again, you get to see the mistakes as they happen. I did not start from the same place, so I need to mark this. Now let's see, right there where the 4 is. Come down and mark this where the 4 is. And do that again. Put it right there. Make an arc. And put it right here. Make an arc. Where these intersect each other, that is the center of this board. And by drawing a line that passes through both those arches, we'll have a center line from which we will measure everything. Now we want to come out far enough that this dish can sit off about like that. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take and I'm going to mark it about right here. And I'm going to set my compass to 3 1/2 inches. About right there. We'll take and we'll put this guy where I decided to mark this. We'll do a little line like that. And I'm coming back over here to about the same place. We'll put a little line like this. And in between those two right there, this is just about where we want to be. And we want to be on that line. Alright, so we know we're going to make a hole in it. You can use a nail or anything for this, but I'm going to put a punch right there. Put a little divot in it. Like I said, you can use a nail, you can use a nail set, a center punch, anything that you happen to have to make that little dent. I made that dent because we want to put this right there in the dent and make the circle. This going to sit in. In theory, this circle should be just about 7 inches. And it is exactly 7 inches. So I'm going to repeat that process over here so that I'll have 2 7-inch holes. When I come back, we'll go ahead and punch a hole in here, and we'll try to use that jigsaw and cut this out in a fairly decent circle so we'll have a place for those pans to sit in there. So, got to have a hole so we can stick our jigsaw blade in there. And when you do the first cut on here, you don't want to try to follow the line exactly. You want to remove a lot of the waste first, and then you can come back and try to fine tune on that line. Alright, we got our circles cut. Are they perfect circles? I doubt it. But, will they work? It would appear so. Alright, so now I need to figure out how long it's going to be. Probably want it to be proportional. In my videos, you'll hear me use terms like almost, about, nearly, because I don't really measure that much. But I figure if I make it the same distance from here to here as it is from here to here, then it'll be, fairly symmetrical. And I've done that, and I've drawn a line. And again, staying with the theme, I'm using only the tools at hand to do this. The temptation is to use all the wonderful things I have around my shop. I have table saws, I have all kinds of tools that I could be using. But I'm doing this for you so you can see that you can do this with a minimal amount of tools. So let's get started. Okay. So we got a circles cut. I cut it to length. That's what we have. That's going to be the top of our dog food thing. You'll notice that this is MDF, which is medium density fiberboard. It's not wood per se, it's more glue than wood probably. in any event, it isn't going to matter. It's your first project. You're not looking for building the Taj Mahal, you're looking for something that works. So what we're going to do is we'll sand it down just a little bit, and then eventually this is going to be completely painted. So we'll get back to that. The next phase is to figure out how to get it up off the ground. Alright, so I'm going to look through my material and see if I can find something that'll work for that. I'll be back in a bit. Alright, so I think I figured out how I'm going to support that thing. Remember the entertainment center? That piece of junk? Well, I turned this into these. So basically, it's very simple. You have a couple sides like this. Standing up here. Guess I'll match them up. There we go. And then this guy be on top of there. And when I'm done, it'll have a nice little trim piece on it. It'll look like that when I'm finished. Not bad, eh? So, in upcoming videos, we're going to cut that to length. Cut that to length. Cut us a couple of sides to go on to it, next to it. And we'll be ready to put it all together.